Well, it looks like we're doing it. We're talking about Final Fantasy IX Remake. Now, I've been very hesitant to do any type of videos reporting on Final Fantasy IX Remake over the years just because, well, a lot of the sources from this game were basically TMB. Trust me, bro, my dad works at Nintendo, I've seen it, it's real. So none of it really felt legit. But some recent respectable industry insiders have now said, yeah, Final Fantasy IX Remake is real. It's a thing and it is happening. Now, rumors in regards to Final Fantasy IX have been flying around since way back in September of 2021 when that NVIDIA GeForce Now leak hit. And on that list was games that hadn't even been announced yet. And everything on that list as of now has either come out or been announced, barring a few things like Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy Tactics, and then you had Injustice 3 on there too, which that's been debunked because NetherRealm is not working on Injustice 3, they are working on Mortal Kombat 1. So that's pretty much like the only blemish on that list. But when that list hit, a lot of Square fans saw Final Fantasy IX Remake on there and we all just kind of scratched our heads like, huh, number 9. I love 9. I grew up playing 9. It holds a very special place in my heart, but I'm very curious behind the thought process of Square choosing to go with 9 to get a remake next. And recently, industry insiders like Jeff Grubb, who are pretty respectable, has now confirmed that yes, he has heard that Final Fantasy IX Remake is a thing. He reported this on his Game Mess Mornings podcast, where he would go on to say, I heard very recently, once again, Final Fantasy IX Remake is real. That is real and happening. There's a chance. With Final Fantasy IX Remake, it isn't quite as, almost certainly, as ambitious as the Final Fantasy VII Remake stuff, but maybe somewhere between the Crisis Core Remaster and Final Fantasy VII. And then over on Reset Era, shit is popping off over there too, because the insider who leaked Persona 3 getting a remake is now saying, yeah, Final Fantasy IX Remake is a real thing, and it's happening. This user is I'm a Hero 2, and they are claiming that they have also seen Final Fantasy IX Remake, and that it's definitely not coming to Nintendo Switch, which kind of alludes to maybe the game visually being really impressive and not something that the Switch could even handle, but they are claiming that this has Sony written all over it. So it's looking like Sony and Square have a pretty big exclusivity deal that's going to extend to a majority of the bigger Final Fantasy games, not including Crisis Core for some reason. I'm a Hero 2 also does go on to say that while the game is not as ambitious visually as Final Fantasy VII Remake, it is very pretty, but it's definitely more than a remaster. And this same user is also claiming that the game will retain its traditional gameplay, meaning active time battle, turn-based systems, which I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of quality of life improvements there. I love turn-based combat, the ATB system is great, but I would assume they would want to make some type of improvements to the overall flow of combat. But this is good news for people who aren't happy with Final Fantasy XVI being action-based or the hybrid battle system of 7 Remake. It looks like with Final Fantasy IX Remake, you're going to be getting your traditional turn-based combat intact. And then finally, I'm a Hero 2 also does go on to say that while 9 Remake is real, it's at least 2 years away. So the rumblings and grumblings just keep getting bigger and bigger in regards to Final Fantasy IX, and it's looking like 9 Remake is legit. But again, these are just rumors until it's actually announced and confirmed by Sony and Square Enix. But I am very curious to see, why did Square go with Final Fantasy IX? I do know that it is supposed to get an anime, which I think is going to be aimed at kids. I think that's releasing sometime this year or maybe next year, but I am interested to see why they didn't go with something like Final Fantasy VI, which has a really huge demand to have a big Final Fantasy VII Remake type remake to happen. And to echo Jeff Grubb's words, with Final Fantasy IX being somewhere in between Crisis Core Reunion and Final Fantasy VII Remake, to me, that's a really damn good spot to be in. Crisis Core Reunion was so much more than just a simple remaster. The graphics, the audio, the quality of life improvements that they put into that game were just incredible. They really did go above and beyond with that remaster, and it was just so much more than a simple remaster. And if you can even slightly approach 7 Remake territory, again, this 9 Remake thing might end up being really awesome and might be a nice mixture of both Crisis Core and 7 Remake in terms of its budget. But With that being said, that is the video. I am Curious Corduroy. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think of all of these Final Fantasy IX Remake rumors? And let me know, what Final Fantasy game do you wish got a proper remake a la Final Fantasy VII? I am Curious Corduroy. I will see you guys in the next video. Please remember to always be excellent to one another.